Hello, a very warm welcome to the Dorchester Hotel here in Mayfair in central London. Ahead is what is set to be a historic and iconic night coming away at the Royal Albert Hall on March the 7th as Tasha Jonas locks horns with Lauren Price in a world title unification fight. It is set to be a magical night. Johnny Nelson, Matt Macklin and Savannah Marshall, long time no see, has come to join us. Very good to see you. How are you doing, first of all?
I'm good. I'm really, really good. Long time no see.
It has been a long time. I mean, you've been dabbling in UFC, and now hoping to get a piece of the action and perhaps get on this card.
I am. Another all-female bill. The last one was amazing. So look, I'd be stupid to give up an opportunity like this.
Of course, it was Savannah's fight with Clarissa Shields that sort of set the benchmark, didn't it, for these women's cards? And it was a brilliant night then. And it's set to be the same, Johnny. You've boxed at the Royal Albert Hall. You know just how special it can be. Yeah,
I think Lauren was 5 when I boxed at the Royal Albert Hall.
That's how old.
Natasha was 15, so it's a beautiful place, iconic, an unbelievable place to box in. And of course, with Savannah and Clarissa, the build-up we captured the imagination, and that's why this kind of the build-up is going to again capture imagination, because we're going to start to. It's talent. It's a talented card, and I think the bill will be one of those that stand out in the year because you've just got pure talent on there. I don't know who is and who isn't going to end up popping on the bill, but I think don't be surprised if that bill gets a bit bigger.
Well, we last saw Lauren Price. I mean, she was on the December card on Tasha Jonas against Habazan, and we saw Lauren Price take on Bexy Mateus. And when we spoke to Lauren afterwards, very much looking to stir the pot. She's got the bit between her teeth. She's hungry. It's a kind of experience versus youth, this one, Matt.
Yeah, I don't think there's any need or bad blood in this fight in comparison to what Clarissa and Savannah had. There was genuine dislike in that one. But I think it's kind of spiced up, hasn't it? Because, look, when someone's talking about beating you or stopping you, you can't not fire back. You get defensive, and you feel, even if they didn't mean any offence, how do you not take that offensively? You do, don't you? So, obviously, Natasha feels like she's just being overlooked a little bit as well, and she thinks, I'm not a stepping stone. You know what I mean? I'm not for you to step up a bit. No chance. I'm the proven. I'm done this. You're talented. Yeah, you've done amazing so far, but this is a bit too soon for you. And obviously, Lauren, I think, realises that she needs to, push herself a bit more outside of the ring as well if she wants to be the bigger name.
And we're definitely seeing that side of her come out a bit more, aren't we, for Lauren?
Yes, without a doubt. We did a gloves are off the other day, and Lauren was the one that seemed to try and she would have had an argument in an empty room, and Natasha, in my opinion, I thought she was like the parent trying to make sure things stayed calm. Didn't give.
But isn't that exactly the experience for Tasha? She's been there, done that.
That's what I'm saying. Natasha was who Lauren is today. The young lioness with an appetite, wanting to prove everything. This will be Lauren's 9th professional fight. She's getting in there with former Miss GB. She's getting in there with someone that's so experienced in so many ways. So now it's going to be youth against experience and maturity, and that's why this fight is so hard to choose.
With Tasha coming towards the latter stages in her career, I think it's fair to say, how much pressure do you think is on her shoulders to perform against someone like Lauren, who's 10 years a junior?
See, the thing is with Tasha, for me, Tasha's showed no signs of slowing down. Even if it's still strong, she's one of the more experienced women out there. So I don't think this is as one-sided fight as what people are making out. I think, Lauren's younger, she's faster, but Tasha's timing is so precise, and they say timing beats speed. And like I said, Tasha's so experienced, but Lauren is younger, and Tasha's a little bit older. But like I said, even the last fight, I thought Tasha would have struggled against her last opponent, and she never. She absolutely dominated for 10 rounds.
What do you think it will come down to?
I honestly cannot call it.
You're not just whispering.
Exactly. What do you think it'll come down to, Johnny?
It'll come down to pace. Whoever can control the pace. Lauren's either got to try and take the pace away from Natasha, or Natasha's got to be able to control the pace of Lauren. And that's how it's going to be. It's about the pace, especially when you get to a certain age.
Well, it is set to be a blockbuster welterweight world title unification fight coming away on March the 7th, and the press conference is just about to get underway.
Be careful what you wish for, be careful what you ask for, and I'll be there.
A really special, historic night here in the capital.
This is an awesome night for women's boxing.
Are you ready to make history?
She's a credit to our sport. Every day she achieves things, and everything she touches seems to turn to gold.
The story doesn't end here, and it won't end in a lot of either.
I want to create a legacy, and yeah, this is just a start. I believe that I'm the best of 147.
Nights like this is incredible for women's sport. I haven't lost around yet as a professional, and I'm coming for it all.
In my opinion, I don't think she's a bit better than she is. I win, simple as.
Olympic gold medalist, too young, too quick, too good. Have a good camp, and I'll see you soon.
Be careful what you wish for.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our viewers joining us on Sky Sports, and welcome to the members of the media that have joined us here today live from the world-famous Dorchester Hotel here in London, ahead of a huge card on March 7th. Another all-women's boxing card headlined by Tasha Jonas and Lauren Price, promoted by Ben Shalom and Boxer, and live worldwide on Sky Sports from the Royal Albert Hall. But before we get to that, we have a press conference today to highlight some of those competitors on the card. Before we get to those competitors, I do want to thank our sponsors: Betfred, Riyadh Season, That Prize Guy, Hell Energy, IFX Payments, Village Hotels, and Car Finance 24/7. I'm going to welcome a few people that are joining us on stage first. We're going to hear from a lot of the undercard fighters before we bring up our main eventers, but I do want to introduce a couple people. First, the host of today's press conference, as usual, from Sky Sports, Mr. Andy Scott. And seated next to Andy is the CEO, the founder, and the promoter of this event from Boxer, Mr. Ben Shalom. Joining them on stage are some incredible boxers. First, I want to highlight someone that is getting ready to make her professional debut, and she's doing it with Boxer on Sky Sports. She was the 2024 Olympic bronze medalist. Please welcome Cindy Ngamba.
Thank you for having me.
Also joining on stage, a matchup that I think could steal the show on March 7th. I want to introduce first the Olympic bronze medalist, the undefeated. Welcome back, Karis Ardingstall. And Karis's opponent on March 7th, she is the former WBC international champion and the former world championship contender. Ladies and gentlemen, Raven Chapman. Also joining us today, fresh off her first world title defense, still undefeated, still the WBC world champion. Ladies and gentlemen, Sweet Caroline Dubois. And also joining Andy and Ben on stage, the trainers of our main eventers. Please welcome Mr. Rob McCracken and Mr. Joe Gallagher. Andy Scott, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thanks, Big Mo, for those terrific introductions. Welcome to all of you to the Dorchester today. Thank you very much for giving up your time to come down for this unstoppable media press conference. We've actually been down at the Royal Albert Hall today to pose for a couple of promotional photos, and when you see that iconic historic venue, even from the outside, it really does take your breath away. To think that a professional ring is going to be inside that iconic hall where the likes of Muhammad Ali, Henry Cooper, Prince Nassim Hamed, Lennox Lewis, Frank Bruno, Ricky Hatton, and many, many more have all fought under those bright lights, and now we have this terrific bill as well. It really is going to be something special on March 7th. So without further ado, Big Mo, I'll give you the chance to bring in our main event fighters.
Absolutely. Thank you, Andy. The main event live from the Royal Albert Hall on March 7th for Boxer Unstoppable is for the WBC, the WBA, IBF, and Ring Magazine Unified Welterweight Championships of the World. Introducing first, the fast-rising star from Wales. This woman has been a decorated athlete her whole life, and now as a boxer, she has been an Olympian, an MBE, a British champion, and a world champion. And on March 7th, she aims to become a unified world champion. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Lauren Price.
I want to go on and I want to become undisputed.
Introducing the Olympic gold medalist, the MBE, the first ever women's British champion. She is the And now, her opponent. As fast as Lauren Price is climbing, this woman has been a pillar of women's boxing before her opponent even started. World title after world title, headline show after headline show. She was the original Olympian for women's boxing in this country, so much so that she is known simply as Miss GB. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the press conference today here at the Dorchester Hotel, the defending unified world champion, Tasha Jonas. And now the unified IBF and WBC welterweight champion of the world, Tasha Jonas!
Baby Mila, Mommy did it.
So explosive. Jonas is picking up punches nicely here. This has been absolutely electric.
And now we will bring up both of these champions, the headliners for this historic all-women's card from the Royal Albert Hall on March 7th. Please welcome Lauren Price and Tasha Jonas.
Okay, I will invite both champions to come and take their seats at the top table with promoter Ben Shalom. Well, welcome back to the Dorchester, everybody that's watching us live across the Sky Sports social media and digital platforms. Welcome back to the Dorchester for this terrific main event press conference, but also this stellar undercard as well. I'll come to you first, Ben Shalom. I wonder, when you think back to Shields Marshall, you kind of think, God, you know, maybe we should leave that where it is because you're never going to get anything as good as that. And then you see the talent at these two tables here and the hardware, the belts that are on offer, and you think, wow, this is going to be something special March 7th. Just talk us how we got to this point and how excited you are to get this card all signed, sealed and delivered.
Yeah, first of all, I have to thank Sky Sports. We're very passionate about women's boxing, but what they do for women's sport is truly unparalleled. That first women's night that we did became the most watched female event ever on Sky Sports, which really shows the power of women's boxing and where we've got to. I always think of Katie Taylor, Tasha Jonas, Savannah Marshall as the reason why the sport's so big. So to be able to be sat here today with Olympians from London all the way to Paris and everyone in between on a card like this, it's phenomenal. Thank you to Royal Albert Hall. We've been knocking on the door for nearly 2 years to get boxing back in, and it had to be something very special, and this truly is very special. The main event is absolutely phenomenal. Even just teasing it has sold out the venue, and the undercard is the talent that's sat here. There's two major announcements that aren't even sat here to be announced as well is incredible. Women's boxing is a force to be reckoned with. The numbers speak for itself, and this night will be, on March the 7th, will be something to remember.
Just a quick one on the Royal Albert Hall. You know, Cirque du Soleil are in there today, and you think of how incredible that show is. To think that a boxing ring is going to be in the centre of that, and a venue that's hosted boxing for over a century now. To have your name on that, I mean, you say that you've been banging on the door for 2 years. I presume from a promoter's point of view, it's a bit of a UK bucket list thing to tick that off. Yeah, without a doubt. I didn't think it would happen at one stage, and even International Women's Day and their involvement and getting involved all helped. Sky Sports, as I say, the fighters. And in the end, I think Albert Hall looked at this and said, this isn't just an event, a special boxing event. This is a special event for sport and a special event for women's sport. And it's, incredibly proud moment for the company, incredibly proud moment for our fighters, and incredibly proud moment for Sky Sports as well. This really will be a phenomenal event on March the 7th. Well, I've already mentioned the legacy that Shields Marshall left, and I should just point out, great to have Savannah Marshall here today as part of the broadcast team. Let's just remind ourselves of that historic night at the O2 and see how far we've all come, I think.
Really special, historic night here in the capital.
It was an amazing night tonight. Just seeing a packed out arena in the UK as well. 2 women headlining the bill. I mean, what more could you ask for women's boxing? It was unbelievable.
It's absolutely amazing that 2 women have sold out the O2. It's unbelievable, and I thank you, every one of you, from the bottom of my heart.
Boxing's the winner tonight.
Absolutely,
Boxing
well said,
is
Fraser.
the winner tonight. You know, one unbelievable occasion.
I want everybody to give it up for me, Savannah Marshall, and all the women that came here today.
What an incredible event. It's such an honour to be here. Nearly 20,000 people, all women's fights. It's just incredible. So let's keep doing it, keep making it visible, and keep getting people joining in and being part of it.
Are you ready to make history?
A watershed moment for women's boxing.
What great memories, I think, for everybody that was involved in that event. Really does make the hairs on your back of your neck stand up when you look at that. Let's move on to the undercard, and one of the reasons we're here today. I want to start with a real special fighter, someone that's been on the Toe to Toe podcast and told us all about her story, to go to the Olympic Games, to bring back a medal, and now to start her journey in the pro ranks, Cindy Ngamba. Great to have you on the card, Cindy. You only get one professional debut. What are your hopes and expectations for March 7th?
Thank you for having me. I'm excited for my debut on the 7th of March. Again, it's going to be another historical female boxing show taking place in the Albert Hall. Never been to the Albert Hall, so I'm actually excited. She'll be sharing the ring with amazing role model like Lauren Price and Tasha Jonas and many other female in the game. It's amazing, and I'm ready to get the game rolling and to get as many experience as possible throughout my professional journey. And I'm excited.
Was it an easy decision to decide to turn professional now?
No, actually it wasn't, because before the build-up of the Olympic and the qualifier, I had my eyes on turning pro. But my main goal, ever since I started boxing, was to go to the Olympic, and I had to get that out of the way first of all. And then I had an amazing experience even after the Olympic, and so much support and so much praises, and hopefully in the pro, I can, hopefully in my pro journey, I can get as much support as possible, and also learn through the barriers of experienced female boxer in the game already.
Yeah, it's an easy question that we ask every debutant. You know, what are your hopes and expectations from the professional game? If you were going to set yourself a ceiling and a baseline of achievements, what is the minimum that you want to get out of this sport? Is it world titles and everything that comes with it?
100%. I think for every boxer out there and every fighter, you want to set yourself high goals and aims, and I want to get myself in the ring with the most experienced female boxer out there, and hopefully go for any world title as possible. I'm a fighter and I'm a boxer. At the end of the day, I can learn through any type of style as possible. So my aim has always been, I set myself goals and aims, and this is just another goal that I've set myself, which is to turn pro and to get busy as possible as I can.
I'll just bring in Ben Shalom. I didn't get a chance to ask you about Cindy Ngamba, but presumably you've all heard the same as us. You know, the boxing grapevine, and anybody that's been up at the EIS or anybody that watched Cindy's run through the Olympics know how good she is. What are your thoughts on her turning pro?
Yeah, first of all, incredibly proud to see her up here now. I said to Rob McCracken, I think last year I said she's the one. She is the one that has the potential. She's the one that we want. A phenomenal performance in Paris, I think, you know, grabbed the hearts of the nation. And so to see what she can go and achieve now in a professional career should be phenomenal. I think Lauren Price, Tasha Jonas, even Caroline Dubois, and what they've gone on to achieve since the Olympic Games has been unbelievable, and I think Cindy's going to have a similar trajectory. So amazing for her to be here. Amazing for this to be her debut as well at the Royal Albert Hall. It sets up what should be a great, great career ahead.
Let's move on to the next fight on the card, which I have to be honest, I think it's been made pretty quickly because it's caught everybody out. Usually nothing is secret in the boxing world. You only have to go on social media and you'll probably find some degrees of the truth. But Karis Artingstall and Raven Chapman, welcome to both of you. I didn't believe it until I saw it, but you're both here now and it is great to have you both. Raven, I'll probably come to you first, if you don't mind. What an opportunity for you. I don't think anybody would have blamed you if you went back to the drawing board and perhaps took a softer route back and, rebounded after the Sky Nicholson defeat, but straight into a big fight like this against Karis Artingstall. What does that say about your motivations and your ambitions?
Yeah, I'm super motivated. Obviously, we always said we don't want an easy route. You know, we don't want easy fights. It's always been about meaningful fights and proving ourselves at the top, and that's exactly why we agreed to this fight as well. You know, we said after Saudi that we didn't want to go back any levels. We didn't feel like we needed to, and we got this opportunity. So thanks to Ben for creating that opportunity and giving us the chance to take this fight. And I think it's a fight that a lot of people have wanted to see. Both Karis and I have wanted this fight for a while, and timing's just worked out pretty well for it, and I think it's a really exciting fight to make, and like I say, it's a fight a lot of people have wanted for a while.
Have you been able to process what happened out in Saudi Arabia? I don't want to dwell on it, and with a number of things like that, you can take positives in defeat, and you know what you've got to work on now, but have you been able to come to terms with it and be at peace with it?
Yeah, 100%. I'm quite stoic mentally as in general, and I know where I went wrong in that fight. I didn't turn up on the day, and the better person won on the day, but that's boxing. You know, you have a fight day and you need to hope that on that day you're the best version of yourself, and so we learned a lot, and it was such a big event. Probably underestimated just how big the event was as well, and there was a lot going on in the week, and it was a lot to take in, but at the same time it was such an experience, and so we definitely learned a lot from it. And it's one of them cliches, isn't it? You can learn more from a loss than a win, and I think that's definitely something that we had to address as a team in after that fight as well, and that's why it was sort of agreed that we don't want to take any step backwards. We don't want to take an easy fight and work our way back up there. Let's just go full steam ahead, and yeah, that's why we wanted this fight.
Well, welcome back and welcome to the card. We're looking forward to it. Karis, great to have you back as well. It's been a while. Been out for over a year now, so you must be chomping at the bit and delighted to be back and straight in and again in a big fight when perhaps you could have taken a little warm-up fight and nobody probably would have batted an eyelid. But how excited are you to be back, especially against a fighter of the quality of Raven Chapman?
Yeah, I'm chuffed to be back, and I'm not getting any younger, and time waits for nobody. Raven's a decent name, and I just want to be the best in my weight division. So I think I need a fight like Raven. She's got quite a high profile. She's been in with the top girls. Her last fight was Sky Nicholson. So I think a win over Raven puts me straight back in the mix with the top girls and potentially knocking on the door for world titles this year.
Does it help or hinder when you know your opponent pretty well? Because I think you two have spent some time together on the amateur circuit and have shared a ring before. Does that help or does that hinder?
I think it's irrelevant in a way. We boxed each other about 5 years ago, something like that. We've spent rounds with each other up on the GB setup. We know each other quite well. Yes, there's been short bay windows in between them interactions we've had, and improvements have been made, things have tweaked, whatever, but we know each other quite well. We pretty much know what to expect of one another, I believe. I think it's irrelevant. On the day, I believe I turn up the better fighter and I get the win.
I think those of us that have seen both your professional careers, and people behind the scenes might put us straight, but feel like this is going to be a really good clash of styles, that entertainment-wise, this one should make for really good TV.
Yeah, it could do. I'm just going to adapt to whatever's in front of me on the night. If I need to box my way through the 10 rounds, so be it, I will. I'll do whatever it takes on the night to get the win, because that's the most important thing to me on the night, just to get the win so I can move forward with my career.
Well, brilliant. It's great to have you both on the card, and we really do look forward to that terrific undercard matchup. Moving on to Caroline Dubois, who sat in front of me now. I mean, Caroline, what can we say that hasn't already been said? I mean, It was a strange dynamic last time out. I think we all talk about it as if it was a victory just because of the manner of it. What is your reflections on last time out against Jessica Kamara?
Yeah, for myself, I always feel going into a fight that, from my takeaway, is to go out there and do the best that I can do. Whatever comes from that, it's not up to me. I feel like I went out there, did the best that I could do. 2 rounds, it was a whitewash, I think. I showed my levels, I showed the standard that I'm at, I showed that, I believe that I'm the best 135, and that performance put it out there that I am, and it's on to the next one.
Yeah, what about the future and the year ahead? You've made no secret every single time we put the questions to you, put the names to you, and you just, every single time bat them away, say line them up, titles, big fights, that's all I want. What are your hopes and expectations for 2025?
For me, the biggest goal for me right now is to be undisputed, and I feel like it can happen right now. This year is a breakout year for me, and I think the goal, the aim, the ambition is to be undisputed.
What about boxing at the Royal Albert Hall? You're still so young in terms of your professional development, but to be part of a card like this, you must be looking at this and thinking, before too long, I hope to headline shows of this sort of quality of my own at the top of the bill.
Yeah, it wasn't too long ago that I was at the O2 Arena, and it was a real pinch-me moment being there, seeing the likes of Clester Shields, Savannah Marshall, Michaela Mayer. I first watched, these girls when I was 11 at Tokyo 2012 Olympics, and then at Rio Olympics, and now I'm on the card with them. And now again, we've got another all-female show, and again I'm on the card, and now I've got a higher spot, higher position. I'm here with 2 belts beside me. I'm excited, I can't wait. I feel like I'm on a great momentum, on a great trajectory, and I know it's only going to get better from here.
There's that great picture at ringside of all of your teams sort of holding their heads and looking pretty squeamish about your performance last time out, just about how sort of violent and ruthless it was in a number of ways. But is the best still yet to come? Shane McGuinn was very quick to point out, we haven't really scratched the surface yet. Do you subscribe to that opinion as well, that there is still more to come?
100%. I feel like a lot of fighters have the same mentality, that it's the person in front of you that brings out the best performance, You've seen it time and time again. You get on with someone who's a bit scrappy, and for some reason it brings you down a notch. But when you get with someone who's got good shape, good hands, that's when you bring the best out of yourself. And Jessica, she did what she had to do, but I was miles levels above her, and I can't wait to get in with the ring with somebody who's as close as they can be on my level.
Well, I mean, it's great to hear you speaking so confidently. We look forward to the next instalment because I'm sure it's going to be entertaining. Benchon, before I move on to the main event, just to wrap up the whole undercard there, great to have Karis in against Raven, but also Caroline Dubois. That was pretty violent stuff last time out, but perhaps we shouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, and as I say, 2 more big announcements to add. What I'll say about Caroline is the biggest compliment I can pay is we all love women's boxing. There's still a few people that don't. And they're the ones coming up to me saying that they've been converted. And that's because of Caroline Dubois. And to have her now at 24 years old, at the start of her career, already having that sort of impact in the sport, it's going to be unbelievable to see what she can do over the next decade. I truly believe she's going to change the face of the sport. And, yeah, so exciting to be at the start of the journey.
Yeah, it's great. It forms part of this terrific undercard, this unstoppable undercard. But let's move on to the main event. I think I speak for both main event fighters when I say I think we thought this was going to be a big night. I think we thought that the attention would be there. But I think even those of us that have been here a number of years now, it's been quite a trajectory, and there's been so many eyeballs and cameras on this fight already. Let's just remind ourselves of some of the media coverage of how this fight was made.
Like this is incredible for women's sport.
When I boxed Clarissa, we had that all-female card. It would be good to get back to that O2 Arena era.
2 women headlining the bill. What more could you ask for?
Careful what you wish for, careful what you ask for, and I'll be there.
Prices, somebody who's won absolutely everything as an amateur.
I think she's just going to get better, better and better.
Yeah, I think it's been amazing, the fight, the reception, the media coverage, it's all been brilliant. But it is now time to hear from the fighters themselves. I think everybody's had enough of me talking. I'll come straight to you, Lauren Price. Someone that's been there, seen it, done it as an amateur, I wonder how this compares now, the Royal Albert Hall, when I list again some of those names that have boxed there, to fight Tasha Jonas at an iconic, historic venue like this. How does that compare to sort of some of the things you've already achieved?
Yeah, I mean, the 7th of March, I've just been there now, Royal Albert Hall, and it's given me goosebumps just looking at it now. So walking out in a fight, an all-British clash, it's going to be up there, you know, with winning that Olympic gold medal, definitely.
Have you been surprised, or is this all water off a duck's back? You know, the attention around this fight is really ramping up into a big fight. I think we internally at Sky and Boxer thought it would be a big fight, but the reception has been pretty incredible. Would you concede that you have been surprised, or is this all just a walk in the park for you?
No, I have been surprised, to be honest. Even on, you know, ticket sales, it's blown out the park, and not even just, you know, I bang on about me being Welsh and being proud, but I'm British, I'm proud to be British, and I got fans from all over who's reaching out to me, English fans, Scottish fans, Irish fans, and yeah, it's just gone to show, you know, how big it's going to be, and I'm excited, and I'm proud to be part, you know, headlining. I was lucky enough to be on the all-female card with Marshall and Shields in my second pro fight, so to be headlining now in an all-British clash, then yeah, it's a great honour, and I'm proud to be part of it.
Stay there, don't go anywhere, because we're going to talk about the fight itself. But Tasha, I just want to sort of echo those sentiments. You didn't get to box on the Shields Marshall card just because of the way the calendar fell. So now, fast forward, a couple of years, and you're topping the bill at the Royal Albert Hall, another historic night. It's kind of come full circle. You do get your flowers now.
Yeah, I think there was a fight a week or two before in Liverpool. I think Liam Smith was headlining, and it just made sense at the time. But then I remember getting to the Shields Marshall in my little Sky get-up and thinking, ooh, I wish I was here. So, yeah, to be able to have my own, be headlining the Royal Albert Hall, you know, first time ever for females is a big occasion. And I think the fans appreciate the fight as well.
Yeah. Have you been in the venue yet? Have you ever seen a show there, or will this be the first time you've been in there?
No, I've been there to see one of the shows with my little girl, and it's an amazing venue inside. I've never seen it for a boxing thingy, but hopefully I'll get a sneak peek before I leave today.
Yeah, I'm sure. I think Cirque du Slayer in there, they wouldn't let us in earlier, but it's another story. Let me bring in the training teams before we come back to the fighters. Rob McCracken, CB, great to see you. You've got an interesting dynamic in this fight because obviously with your role up at the EIS, you've seen both fighters come through that setup. So it is a bit of a different dynamic. The fact that Tasha was the first female to box in the Olympics for Team GB is pretty special, and it's kind of come full circle.
Yeah, Natasha was on the programme for a good while. I know her fairly well. She's a really nice person. We had a chat outside just before with Joe as well. I've known Joe as long as I've known Natasha, to be honest. It's the best against the best, isn't it? That's what everybody's in professional boxing for. You saw it recently with Galal Yafai after 9 fights fighting somebody who was, you know, ranked #1 in the world. You've got to challenge yourself in this sport, and you've got to move as quickly as you can, in my opinion, once you're up to speed and you've got that experience, and that's what we're doing with Lauren, and Lauren's happy to do that. Natasha and Lauren, I feel, are the two best boxers at the weight in the world. So it's just boxing, and it's just a fantastic fight, fantastic matchup. They're both British, so it should be brilliant for female boxing as well.
Someone said to me earlier, the problem with you guys is you just don't know how good these Olympians are that come out of that that cycle and the EIS. And I think we could put Lauren in that bracket that perhaps we didn't quite know, but now we do. How happy have you been with her transition from an amateur to a professional? Yeah,
the first couple of fights was, you know, like a little bit nervous for Lauren. It's a different sport, isn't it? And it just is. But she's adapted really quick. Once she had 2 bouts under her belt, she sort of had the hang of it, and then she's become very confident. When fighters become very confident, you can push them on and work with them, and they understand what you need from them. But yeah, look, Lauren Price has been a phenomenal athlete, like Natasha was when she was on the programme. You know, I've already said it, that the best should fight the best in professional boxing, and certainly, you know, Lauren and Natasha, what they've achieved in their careers, and what Lauren's got ahead of her, and what Natasha's still got ahead of her, and what she's already achieved is phenomenal for both of them. But no point being in boxing if you're not going to fight the best, and Lauren's happy to challenge herself against the best, and and Natasha's happy to take up the challenge. So it couldn't get any better and more exciting. And the Albert Hall as well is probably the best venue in boxing. I was lucky to box there once or twice, so everyone's looking forward to it. It'll be a massive night for boxing. And I think there's 6 or 7 females that are on, that have worked with me in the past on the GB programme. It was great to see Savannah Marshall earlier on today, and all the rest of them. I've seen them a few times. I've seen Caroline a few times recently as well, because she's always knocking people about in Sheffield.
Yeah, I bet they've probably got a waiver. You probably can't tell us any of their secrets, to be honest. But great to have you up here. I mean, one thing I don't think this fight perhaps needs is people doing it down and trainers doing it down. I think it speaks for itself, the fight. Joe Gallagher, I want to bring you in. There's quite a nice sort of junction there, like Rob talking about the transition that Lauren made from the amateurs to the pros, 2 very different sports. It seems like on your side of the table, Tasha made a real smooth transition, and I just wonder if she's achieved everything that you thought she would achieve in the pros.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I'd thank Sky Sports, Ben Shalom, Boxer, you and everyone for turning up today, and also for, like Robert, was similar age, but I don't think neither of us years ago, when we used to be down there at Lennox Lewis's College in London, would be sat here on a top table full of female fighters. That shows you how far female boxing's come in British boxing. Been very fortunate with Natasha, who had an unbelievable amateur career. Then at a late age decided she wanted to turn professional. Yeah, who would have thought we'd be sat here today? I think a year ago today, nearly to the day, she promised me, and in the ring to you, Andy, that 2024 was the last year. And a year later, we're sat here, headline, top of the table again, and there's no denying the girls' ambition, desire, and point to prove. I feel it's a touch of deja vu a little bit here today, Andy. We've been here before. We feel, especially with the Terry Harper fight, poor Natasha, Terry too much, too young, and I feel the echoes and what people are assuming here are passing of the guard, a changing of the guard, but that's not going to happen. We've been here before, and we're going to do it again. And Tasha Jonas, just wanted to touch before you move on, at 40 years of age, soon to be 41, to still show the desire and the will to test herself. Like Rob said, these girls want to test themselves against the best in the world. And Natasha has already said, not overlooking someone, but she still wants a Mayer fight. She still wants a Katie Taylor fight. And that just shows the desire of her, and what a shining example of her and Katie Taylor have been for female boxing since 2012.
Well, I wasn't going to move on. I was going to come back to you and just say, I do know you, and I know Tasha as well. I just wonder, actually, though, if that champs camp mentality, actually, this is when you're all at your best, when people might be writing you off, and that sort of siege mentality that you can instill in your fighters, if that's not always a bad thing.
I just don't think it's necessarily a siege mentality. I think it's just a case that's how we like it. And it's like anything, when I'm sure, like when Rob and other trainers in the room, when they sit down with fighters, they've got to click with them, and it suits the mentality, the personality, and I've been quite fortunate that the fighters that I've worked with in the past over the years have had that same type of mentality. They've come to me, they've been written off, and they've come back and they've proved everyone wrong. And Natasha's sitting here today as a 2-weight unified world champion. I hope and prayed that she was going to retire, but she isn't. She's took the challenge, and she's going to take it and come out on March the 7th as the victor. Just to touch on the Royal Albert Hall, what you said, the names that have boxed there, I've not been there myself. It'll be a proud moment for myself to walk out of Natasha, and also to have a fight in that venue. When you say the likes of people like Henry Cooper have boxed there, the Crays, all 3 brothers fought there, Barrera, Lewis, Bruno. It's some facility and some venue, and what a night it's going to be. Really looking forward to it, and I've done enough talking now.
I don't know, it was all good though, well done. I'm going to bounce off that straight to Tasha though. You know, that last dance in 2024, well, we're still dancing now. I do wonder, like, boxing is about timing, and I think what Joe's alluding to there is a lot of people, it's either one or two things. It's either too soon for Lauren Price, who is making waves as a pro, but it's still early days, or it's too late for you, you've had your time and the baton's going to pass. I wonder how that sits with you when you hear that.
The pressure's not on me. You know, Lauren's the champion who's never lost a round, the Olympic gold medalist. and there's a lot of pressure on her to come and do what she says she can do. So yeah, the underdog suits me. I've been here before. It's not something that's new, and yeah, I always come out shining. So
it's also something you don't fear. The fact you touched on it there. You know, barely lost a minute as a pro. I don't think. I think you know what lights a fire under you is challenges in first. That's a fact, isn't it? The first to do this, the first to do that.
100%. I love being the first, and the first is something that nobody can take away. But yeah, like I say, I've been here before, and you've got to be careful what you wish for.
Lauren, this is your chance to say why she's wrong, Tasha Jonas, that it is your time, that it isn't too soon, that it is the passing of the torch to you.
Yeah, I mean, take age out of it. I just think, I know I'm better in all areas. I back myself. My accolades speak for themselves. I know I'm still, fresh into the pro game. I've had 8 pro fights, but each fight I've stepped up. I will admit, yeah, Tasha is my toughest test, but I believe she brings another level of my game out, and I rise again. And yeah, I've always had pressure on me, from the amateur days, going to the Olympics, expected to win gold, but going to do that and walking out to an Olympic final, it doesn't get much bigger than that. And with pressure comes diamonds, and I will be coming out on March the 7th as the winner and taking them belts back to Wales.
What was the message that you gave us in the ring on the night of Collision course, that you were too young, too fast, too strong? Why? Just expand on that, why you believe that to be the case.
Because I do. I believe,
doing a press conference here, mate.
Sorry, Eddie, I'll call you back. Katie, no, it's too late. Katie's gone. Sorry, mate. Bye-bye.
Sorry, Lauren, as you were saying.
Yeah, no, I stick by it. I believe in myself, like Tash believes in herself. But I do believe the right time is now, A lot of people wrote me off against McCaskill in Cardiff on May the 11th. And like I said, I haven't lost a round, and I was quite comfortable in there. I do believe she is a tougher test, like I've said. But I still think, I come through with flying colours.
I'm going to invite both of you just to give a final message before we leave you to your training camps. I think there's been a lot of talking. There's been a bit of spite in some of it. Maybe today we're not going to get that out of the two of you.
Tell
her. You can't work it.
Taking the piss.
Tasha,
just it off. Sorry.
No, I mean, it is just chance just for a final message to each other. You say you're the underdog. You say that perhaps people are overlooking what you've already achieved in the sport, that it isn't your time to go. What is your final message to Lauren Price?
I decide when it's time, and just be careful what you wish for. Have a great camp, and I'll see you on March the 7th.
Your response, Lauren, your chance to give her... Tasha's saying there, it's her, she'll decide on her own terms. It's not for you to do that.
Yeah, that's up to her. But like I said before, have a good camp, and yeah, I'll see you on March 7th, and that's it. I mean, we've done all the talking. We don't need to talk anymore. It's a great fight, and it's sold itself. So I look forward to it.
I'll finish with you, Benchon. It has got all the hallmarks of a great British rivalry, OK? It's not Shields-Marshall. It's not got that venom, but there is enough here. We've already seen them sort of lock horns at Collision Course night, where I think we're all taken aback. It's got all of the ingredients that you could wish for.
Yeah, look, when there's this much on the line, you're going to get an edge, and we've got one. It's 2 great competitors, 2 people I feel honoured to be part of and to represent. Tasha Jonas, for me, is a true British boxing legend. She was a boxing legend before I met her. She's then gone on to become a multi-weight world champion. So for her to be headlining the Albert Hall is just another thing to a wonderful career that looks to go on. And Lauren Price has got everything to prove. The gold medalist, the MBE, never lost a round, just achieved things that no one else achieved in the amateur sport. She'll want to replicate that now in the professional sport. And yeah, it's a truly, truly great fight. Final tickets at boxer.com. 2 huge announcements to make this week. It's going to be a phenomenal night for the sport. And yeah, I can't wait.
Well, thank you very much for coming out today. We're going to pose for head-to-heads. All fighters will be available for one-on-ones. We're just going to take a minute or so just to break the tables. Thank you again. While we let that commence, I'll hand back over to Big Mo. But thank you all for coming and wait around for these head-to-heads.
Absolutely. Thank you, everybody. Make sure you please stay seated so we can conduct 2 head-to-heads for Karis Ardingstall versus Raven Chapman, and the main event, Tasha Jonas versus Lauren Price. Once again, we would like to thank our sponsors today, Betfred, Riyadh Season, That Prize Guy, Hell Energy, Village Hotels, IFX Payments, and Car Finance 24/7. If you haven't already, you can follow Boxer for live updates of all of our shows and build up, especially ahead of next week's contest featuring Adam Azim. Make sure you follow Boxer with 2 X's, BOXXER, on all social media platforms. We're just clearing everything off, and then we'll bring the fighters on stage, so please bear with us. Once again, thank you to the Dorchester Hotel for hosting this press conference today. And now I will introduce on stage, with the promoter of this event, Mr. Ben Shalom, one of the contests featured on this historic card taking place on March the 7th at the Royal Albert Hall. Karis Ardingstall makes her return to the ring against Raven Chapman. Live on Sky Sports and NBC's Peacock.
Okay, back to the front.
Got ya.
And now I will introduce and welcome the 2 halves of the main event for this historic all-women's night taking place at the Royal Albert Hall on March the 7th. It is for the Unified Welterweight Championships of the World. It is Wales versus England. I will welcome Tasha Jonas and Lauren Price to the stage to face off with promoter Ben Shalom of the event. The 2 best in this division looking to unify the belts on March the 7th. Few tickets remaining, will likely be sold out in the coming days. Make sure you get yours before they do. This is a showdown that you are not going to want to miss, headlining a historic card. Once again, for the Unified World Championships, Tasha Jonas versus Lauren Price.
Well, it seems to be all smiles on Tasha's face. I can't quite see Lauren, but it's going to be something very different come March the 7th.
Yeah, I think there's the right amount of needle. Like I said, I don't think there's any bad blood, no, but there's a very healthy competitive rivalry there, and obviously Tasha feels, as you would do as the champion, they wanted more proven and tested, almost feel a bit offended that the younger up-and-comer wants to take your scalp.
I remember there's that familiarity with Joe and Rob McCracken. So there's no disrespect. To understand, Rob McCracken knows them both very well, and he's very straightforward, no-nonsense kind of guy, saying, look, this the best of it versus the best. He believes these 2 are the best fighters in their division. So that's why he's probably very even, very... there's no pressure at all. It's professional. They'll have sparred, and he knows them very well.
I think what Rob said there was pretty fair as well, in terms of when you have the talent and you need to push on. You've got to take your opportunities when you can.
Yeah, look, you don't want to, as a manager or trainer bringing a fighter through, you don't want to throw them into something before they're ready. But it's definitely detrimental to hold them back either, because people are improving and evolving, and to keep developing, you've got to keep getting tested and challenged. Otherwise, people get stale. That's when generally people get complacent or underperform. But if you're constantly challenging yourself, it keeps you on your toes.
For Lauren, how much of a talent do you think she is? How impressed have you been with her so far? Because, let's not forget, she's still relatively sort of early days in her career, really.
This is a 9th professional fight. She's going in there with a seasoned fighter in Tasha. I think Lauren's nowhere near the finished article. And sometimes you've got to take a risk. And we've seen some talented fighters fall by the wayside pretty early, but having to find a way back. David Hay, Carl Thompson, in his top professional fight, got turned over, ended up being cruiserweight and heavyweight champion of the world. So these kind of fights will either show the early talent of a fighter, or they'll fall by the wayside. I think it's so tight. There's so much pressure on this fight. It's ridiculous.
Well, talking of fighters on the rise, we can see there Caroline Dubois, who is back in the ring, not wasting any time this year. It's exactly what she wanted, to get some momentum and keep active.
Yeah, great to see. She only got a couple of rounds last time out, and it was
but those couple of rounds were pretty fearsome.
Very fearsome. It was a devastating performance, brutal, to be honest. It's not often you sit in ringside where you actually genuinely feel sorry for the other opponent, but I couldn't but feel sorry for her opponent, even though it was a ludicrous technical draw in the end. I mean, I think anyone who was there seen what happened, and it was, like, as you say, rightly, a fearsome performance, but it's brilliant that she's, back out again, ASAP, building some momentum.
I mean, that is some talent there we're seeing, isn't it?
Look at how many belts are on that stage now. This now how much further we've gone along in regards to talent, in regards to champions, in regards to British success. Look at 6 belts on that stage.
Yeah, and someone like Cindy Ngambo will be looking at someone like Tasha and thinking, I want a piece of that. That's me, hopefully down the line.
I see Fran Hennessy sat there inside. She's thinking, you know what, I want a piece of this action. It just inspires so many young talent coming through.
Don't forget Cara Stall as well. Good to see her back in action. She's going to want to try and steal the show.
Well, it was last January that we last saw Caris in action, so I'm sure be itching to get back in the ring. And what a venue as well, the Royal Albert Hall. I mean, Tasha's saying she hasn't been in there, recently. And some of them haven't even been in there at all. I mean,
I've never been there.
You've never been in the Royal Albert Hall,
I've never boxed there, and I've never been to boxing. I've never been to an event there.
Now I feel old.
I can't wait to. No, there were shows on during my time, but it just never happened that I was on those cards, and I never went to them. But I'm looking forward to it.
I imagine a venue like that, Johnny, will make you even sort of raise your game. You rise to the occasion when it's somewhere like that.
There are 1 or 2 historical events, venues in the UK. For boxing, and they mentioned earlier on fighters that had been there, Lennox Lewis, Frank Bruno, people like that had been there, and to be at the Albert Hall, trust me, it's such an amazing place to be in. It's such, an iconic building. Trust me, they'll be blown away when they get inside there.
Yeah, I mean, that's the word, iconic. It is iconic. It's like a Pasha York Hall or something, isn't it?
I don't even think you could compare the two, Matt. I mean, there's chalk and cheese. I mean, they're both brilliant in their own right.
But in boxing terms, York Hall's somewhere that's got a lot of history.
Synonymous.
And then, exactly, where the Royal Albert Hall is a few levels above that, isn't it?
Yeah, not quite going to see the proms at York Hall. I mean, that would be interesting. Hello, Raven Chapman. Lovely to see you. Come and get involved. We were just talking about the Royal Albert Hall and how special a venue it's going to be boxing in. How much are you looking forward to it?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I've boxed in a few different places now, so it'd be amazing to add the Royal Albert to my little list.
What do you think it adds to it?
Just that historic night, all the names that were sent who have boxed at this venue before. Yeah, I'm just really humbled to be part of this card and making more history and everything else.
How dangerous are you seeing Cara Stall to be for you?
I think it's going to be a great fight. Obviously, she's aggressive, she's strong. that's the kind of fight that I want to be involved in. I want to be in proper fights, in real fights, in fights that mean something, and this is a fight that means something, so I'm really looking forward to it.
And of course you come into this off the back of the Sky Nicholson loss. Well, what did you learn from that fight, do you think?
We learned a lot, you know. It was just one of them where I wasn't quite 100% on the night. I didn't show up on the night, and that's what boxing's all about, isn't it? It's showing up on the day when you need to show up, and I didn't, and there were some things through the week. Even the whole event was so, you know, mind-blowing and taking it all in. Even things like that, you don't realise how much that can take it out of you until you're in it. So I think, as a whole team, we learned a lot, and it's that typical cliche of you learn more from the loss than you do the win, and I think it is just one of those, and we'll take a lot from that.
I think that is an interesting point, isn't it, Matt, that Raven's making, that how much you learn from a loss, even more so perhaps than you do a win. But it's so easy when you lose to almost write someone off, isn't it? But the valuable lessons that you do learn from it.
We say regularly, boxing's a mad sport in that regard, that like you lose a fight and all of a sudden you're just thrown to the scrap heap, where, you know, you're in a Premier League football and you're a bad game on a Saturday, you probably, you know, you don't get dropped, and you probably play again Wednesday and it's forgotten about. And that's why the pressure, you know, you're in the change room, the nerves, because first of all, you don't want to lose, but secondly, it's like your career, where in terms of moving forward or falling back, so much is on the line, too much on the line, really. But it's you don't become a bad fighter overnight. In fact, I would say, certainly, I know Johnny would probably agree with me, I became a better fighter because of the fights I lost, without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah, and unfortunately in our sport, we think to stay unbeaten, it's a must. It isn't a must. Believe me, I believe when you lose, it either makes you or breaks you. You either come back strong and think, right, I'll fix that, or it breaks you if your confidence isn't there.
Well, I was talking to Tash this morning. We filmed an Off Limits, and we spoke quite at length really about the Vivian Obernoff loss, how everyone sort of wrote Tasha off after that, but just how much she learnt, not just in terms of, you know, skill or in terms of boxing, but mentally as well. How much that sort of makes you.
And that's why I rate Raven for this fight, to step in at this side against Karis. I think this is a really good fight. For one, for you to not sit back and think, you know what, you cannot walk in there half-hearted. You've got to walk in and think, I'm going to get a job done, and I'll prove everybody what I'm about. So it's a good shout.
It's exactly that, and that's why we want to accept the fight. We wanted the fight. It's a fight everyone's wanted for a long time as well, and it's just been a case of timing, and now seems like the right time. I didn't want to step back in levels. I got offered this opportunity, and it's like, okay, let's do it and show what I'm made of.
Have you guys ever sparred together or crossed paths? You know?
A long time ago now, back at GB. We're both on GB, and we did share the ring at one point as well. Karis got the nod in that fight. She obviously got taken to the Olympics. I left and turned pro, but I wasn't very happy on my time at GB, and I think that showed a lot in my fights as an amateur.
What were the strengths in her in sparring and fighting?
I can't really remember now. Obviously, southpaw is always that little bit awkward. She's long, she's got long arms, she uses her jab well. And they were the main things that I could have pointed out from back then. I'm not going to expect that Karis from then, and I think she'd be silly to expect that same Raven, because since I left GB and turned pro, I've been a completely different fighter. I'm happy, I'm content. This is where I belong, this is where I get the best out of myself, my team gets the best out of me, and that's what I'm going to show on the night. Like I say, one bad day in the office doesn't define someone.
Well, we're going to be looking forward to seeing you on March the 7th.
Thank you.
Thank you for talking to us. I'm sure we'll see you over the coming weeks, indeed, more of you. Thanks, Raven.
Thank you.
I think as well, the fact that Karis has been out of the ring a year, do you think that could
it shows
play? Do you think a bit of ring rust perhaps?
No, it shows her confidence and appetite. To be out of the ring for so long and then to come into this fight, you've got to commend both. You've got to commend both fighters. You've got to commend both fighters for the willing to step up, because both of them have got an excuse not to pick each other. She's been out a year. She's come back off a loss. Do you think they'd pick a softer touch? But no, it's a good fight.
Yeah, we're just saying about, you know, it had a bit of time out, probably not what you were looking for, not what you wanted at all to be out the ring, itching to get back in, no doubt at all.
Yeah, that last year is a complete write-off in my world. Like, it doesn't exist. I'm here now. I'm not getting any younger. Time waits for nobody. I need a decent name to get me back in the mix, back in with the big fights, the big girls, and hopefully knocking on the door for world titles, and this is the kind of fight I believe I win to get me in that position.
And keen to get, I guess, some momentum back.
Yeah, 100%. I got a bit of making up to do, to say the least. Like I said, last year, non-existent, so I want to be busy this year, active, win this fight, hopefully, touch wood, no injuries, no cuts, no nothing, little shake off and then back in the mix again.
What did you make of Raven's performance against Sky Nicholson?
Tough ask for her. I thought that's pretty much how the fight would go. Irrelevant to me, though, means nothing to me, as in me and Sky are different fighters. Like, styles make fights sort of thing. I just know on the night I'll do whatever it takes to beat Raven, and I believe I do beat Raven, and that's all that matters to me.
Are you able to share any of the weaknesses that you've seen in her?
I just think I'm the better boxer. I mean, both of us have got 2 arms, 2 legs. I just use mine better, and that's what it comes down to.
Pretty simple, that, isn't it?
What do you think her strengths and weaknesses are?
I just tried that.
I think Raven, she's game. She's a good fighter. She is a good fighter, but I think we know each other quite well. We've boxed each other previously, so be it. It was about a handful of years ago. We've shared numerous rounds on this setup at Team GB. Like, we know each other pretty well. There's been like bay windows in between the times we've like met each other, but I don't see like a massive change in what she does now to what she done from what I know of her. And she could probably say the same about me, but...
Does it surprise you that she's taken the fight with you?
A little bit, but then at the same time I'm like, no, because why would you turn down to be on the show? And it's a cracking fight. It's like I said, time waits for no one. What's the point in like messing about with little fights down there? You've just come off a fight, a world title shot. Why are you going to go in a 6-rounder and box a nobody? Like, I think this is a cracking fight for both of us.
Well, you've had a taste of it before, haven't you, on the all-female card? I mean, I can't believe that was 2.5 years ago now.
I know, time flies.
Yeah, it was a magnificent night then, and this is set to be the same. But the Royal Albert Hall, a slightly different venue to the O2. What's that going to add, do you think?
If you want me to be honest, nothing. Like, everyone's banging on about it being iconic, etc., and I believe it is, but to me, on the night, I'm going to turn up, there's going to be a boxing ring, the venue's going to mean absolutely nothing to me. I'm just going to go in and do what I need to do to get the win.
Pretty special to be part of, though.
Yeah, 100%. Like, the occasion and the actual event itself, 100%, and I'm grateful to be in these kind of shows and these nights. After the fight, maybe I'll soak it in a bit more and take in the atmosphere and the venue, but
get the job done first.
I've got a job to do first, and that's what my mind's fully focused on.
Before we let you go, a word on the main event. Obviously, quite close to Lauren.
Yeah, I just believe Lauren. I believe Lauren comes out on top. I think it's a cracking fight. I'm not too sure how it's going to go though. Like, is it going to be a bit cagey, or is Lauren just going to go all gas no brakes and just irritate her with her speed and her engine? I don't know how it's going to go, but I believe Lauren comes out on top.
Okay, good to see you, and best of luck on March the 7th. Good to see you back in the ring.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you.
We'll let you pop off. You sense a bit of frustration there, don't you, to get back in there? And you can completely understand that when you've had a period out that you just didn't want, and it is a year that you just wanted to forget as well.
I actually like her attitude.
Yeah.
I'm not bothered about it.
She's very honest, isn't she?
Yeah, very matter of fact about it, and that's a bit raw and a bit scary as well, because you sense fighters like that have no fear, and they're not intimidated by anything or anything. So it's good attitude to have.
Yeah, and sitting on the sidelines for 12 months and seeing your friends and colleagues and people you know, your peers, moving on, developing, progressing, picking up titles, and you're sitting there chomping at the bit. You know, that's only more fuel to the fire.
Exactly, that's the frustration. Surely she's going to be using as a positive come March the 7th.
Yeah, definitely. She'll be very, very motivated, not just to win her fight, but I think she'll want to steal the show.
So Kara's saying she's not quite sure what Lauren is going to do tactically. Well, what do you think? What would you suggest her game plan should be against Tasha?
As I said earlier, pace is going to be the key. I'm sure Rob McCracken will tell her that as well. He's familiar with Natasha. He takes into account her age. He takes into account the amount of miles she's got on the clock. He takes into account what Lauren is good at. It's going to be about pace because Natasha's too smart to stand up and try and outbox and outfox. Lauren's got to be fast. She's got to be persistent, consistent, and make sure she gets Natasha feeling uncomfortable. Make sure she gets Natasha to make mistakes.
Who do you think the pressure's on more in this one?
I think it's probably on Natasha more because Natasha, nobody that's been there wants some young buck to come up and take it away from. So I'd say Natasha, but she's got a great poker face.
No, I disagree with that, Johnny. I think the pressure's on Lauren because people are thinking, oh no, Tasha's older now. This is her swan song. She's finished where the big, the expectations,
But
the
then
hopes
Savannah
are on
said
Lauren.
at the top, she's not slowing down.
Yeah.
You look at Tasha now, even at 14, no
But
real signs of slowing down
the
yet.
general perception
Yeah.
is that Lauren's the heir apparent, and it's her time now. She's the Olympic gold medalist. She's, I think the pressure's on her.
It was fascinating sitting down and talking to her because this is Natasha this morning. Because you forget as well her life story. I mean, she was going to be a footballer, then they got injured, and then what she's achieved as well, and how much of a trailblazer she is. And then that Vivian Obinoff loss, how much she was written off, but then again, what she's got on to
That's what I'm
achieve.
saying. They're both very familiar in regards to what they did away from boxing. They're both very similar, in what they did away from boxing. Both very similar in the paths they've taken. So they've both got a story, and I think it's a great crossroads.
Ben Shalom has just come to join us. Ben, you dressed up for the occasion.
It's like
We're at the
James Bond.
Dorchester, so the suit comes out.
Correct. I wouldn't usually stay here, so I thought, this looks like the type of place I need to wear a suit. But here I am, and it's a massive event. So delighted to be
And
here.
it's a fitting location for a fitting night set to come at the Royal Albert Hall.
Yeah, honestly, the way it's all come together, the main event, who we've got on the undercard, more announcements to come. You can feel it's going to be very special, and the way tickets have gone as well has been fantastic.
Yeah, and that's a proud thing, isn't it? Like we said, we did a women's card 2.5 years ago, and the appetite has grown even more so.
I think women's boxing is a genuine force to be reckoned with, because we always look at the sports on Sky and you're always comparing how does the men's sport do versus women's sport, and in boxing it really competes. The numbers speak for themselves. Even the ticket sales when we go to Liverpool with Natasha, or we've been up to Newcastle with Savannah, Lauren now in Cardiff, it's a force to be reckoned with, and that show that we did was special, and for me the proudest moment of being a boxing promoter that I've had. And so to be able to do it again at the Albert Hall with an all British fight as well, which is particularly special. I can't wait.
We saw earlier the group photo of all the ladies, with a plethora of belts between them, and you really do have the likes of Natasha. There's such experience there. Then Cindy and Gamba, who's going to be making a debut at the Royal Albert Hall. Like I said to Matt, didn't I? Whispering in your ear, saying, a lot of people make their debuts in sort of sports centres or York Hall, and then you're turning over in the Royal Albert Hall. It doesn't really get much bigger or more special than that, does it?
When she sat down, she looked back, she was just like, wow. You could see she was a bit nervous today, but there's a ruggedness about her as well, and there's a fire in there. I think she's going to bring something really special to women's boxing, but as you said, to debut here is phenomenal.
It's a hard act to follow, isn't it?
It is, isn't it?
You've got to keep it going.
Yeah, where do you go next? Ben?
Look, I just look at Savannah, I look at Natasha, I look at where Lauren's going, I look at how Caroline's doing, and they're all amazing athletes, and the fact that they're all from this country and continue to break records is phenomenal. And Cindy brings something different, and Rob McCracken, I've been speaking to a while in that middleweight division with Savannah and Clarissa's never had that depth, and I think throwing Cindy in there, I think she's going to be a massive problem.
Maybe you're getting all the other promoters to jump on board and with the enthusiasm about the ladies show. You're working with Frank Warren on this show as well. So before these fights probably weren't. There wasn't that much enthusiasm for it, but now it's good. It looks good anyway.
Yeah, it shows. I think it's good for boxing, isn't it, when you've got a female sport this strong. And Cards being able to sell out arenas with just women on is amazing as well. And as you said, even the older promoters are starting to get involved.
Well, I think Savannah was on holiday recently, wasn't she, in Thailand, and it was a couple of girls on the beach or something. I think she was saying on her social media that basically were talking about her fight with Clarissa Shields, and that kind of made her want to have a piece of it again. And it is that inspiring the next generation, isn't it? Which is brilliant to see.
What was mad the other day, honestly, I go to Liverpool a lot, and I go in the away end, and I come back, and genuinely people, I think Caroline had just fought, and people were like, are you Caroline Dubois' promoter? I've never had that. For a female fighter, it just felt like, I think Caroline in particular, a lot of people coming up to me, she's changing people's opinions on women's boxing. She can offer something so unbelievable, and yeah, it's the depth of talent that now is taking the sport to another level. There used to be one or two, but you can see up here, and there's plenty more around the world. It's a sport that's growing and it's thriving, and with stars like Caroline Dubois, it's going to go to another level.
They were asking if you were a promoter because you weren't at the show.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry.
Don't say that.
You're at the awards dinner.
I know.
In terms of the main event...
Part-timer.
Oh, exactly. In terms of the main event, what do you think it is going to come down to?
I think a lot is in what Natasha has left. I've always, for the past 18 months, thought this will be the performance where we're going to see it drop off 5%, 10%, and it never has. In December, I thought was one of the better performances in the past couple of years. So I still think it's going to be really hard work for Lauren Price if Natasha's at her best. I think a lot of people are saying Lauren because she's younger and the gold medal and not losing around, but Natasha's been here and done it and got the T-shirt and had those experiences, had those hard nights, had those unfortunate draws, and I really think she's got the bit between the teeth. She's going to be tough to beat. As I say, I think if Natasha's at her very best, Lauren at this stage in her career might find it tough.
We've still got a few weeks to go, but if you had to pick one now, who would your money be on out of Tasha and Lauren? It's a hard one, I know.
It is hard. I struggle. Honestly, I would struggle. I'd struggle to put my neck on the line right now because I can see why both fighters could win, and it's just a case of game plan. I understand when you're at 40 years old, at a certain age, you have to learn to maintain and control the pace of your opponent, because if they take you out of your comfort pace, you're going to struggle. So it's a case of what tactics Joe Gallagher picks, because he's not going to make her any fitter, he's not going to make her any faster, he's not going to put more petrol in the engine.
Well, she's saying how much she's having to adapt to her training now at 40.
So it's very hard, and the one thing you can't play with is time. And so that's the only thing that goes against Natasha in this fight. But everything else, she has the skill, she has the experience, she has the brain power, she has the calm, but it's just that pace and that time. That's the only thing why I would go against her.
Matt?
I think you've got to go with Lauren Price. You know, she's got her career's on the rise. I think Natasha, I think she said this is going to be her last fight, win, lose or draw. You know, that obviously people say that and then change their mind if they get the win. But
let's not forget Natasha. Not saying Natasha won't be able to control the pace. I'm just saying that's the big ask for her.
You look at Lauren's faster. She's naturally bigger, stronger. She's got loads of ability as well. They're both southpaws. I think there's more things stacked in Lauren's favour. That said, it's not beyond Tasha. She's got a lot of experience. She's
write her off.
I'm not writing her off. You pushed me for an opinion. That's what I'm saying.
Don't blame me. I've
got to go with Lauren, but it's
do my job, man.
It's not a foregone conclusion.
Yeah,
absolutely. It's not.
I thought you worked with Natasha.
What's that?
I'm joking.
We're unbiased.
I like both girls. I've no horse in the race, but if you're asking me for an opinion, I think I favour Lauren because of the speed, the youth, the physical strength, all those attributes.
Well, I think one thing is for sure, it is set to be a brilliant night and a brilliant main event that we're all very much looking forward to. We would love your company to join us live from the Royal Albert Hall on March the 7th. It is set to be absolutely magical. Goodbye from us here at the Dorchester.